Hello, students. I wanted to take just a minute and go over some ways that you can do research using AI. For those of you that are in my classes, you've heard me talk about this, but let me share my screen. I want to share with you how I do research on the doctoral level using AI. And this is something that you can use in your college courses. Now, what we don't want to do with AI is we don't want to ask AI to write papers for us. That's plagiarism. There's no version of that that's not plagiarism, and that's how you fail and or get kicked out of college or graduate school, wherever you are. So the reason that I like AI is because you can be very specific. You can exclude things, you can include things. And I like it better than search engines because where search engines will typically give you places to go to get your answers, AI skips that step and gives you the answers. So when it comes to research, for your research papers and things like that, I thought I'd do a real world example of some doctoral research that I'm doing for my dissertation, just an aspect of my dissertation, to kind of show you how you can do research, how you can find sources. So what you're looking at, if you can see my screen, is you are looking at Chat GPT. I use Grok, which is Twitter, most of the time, but I think most of you probably use Chat GPT. So the key to doing research on an AI is to be as specific as possible. The more general your prompt, the more general the information is going to come back. So you can see here in this prompt, I told the AI that I am conducting a doctoral research project on how Protestant Christians in the 16th through the 18th centuries utilized Christian councils and regional synods when making their theological and ecclesiastical arguments. Compile a bibliography of 25 sources that address this issue. Now, in the course that I took in the doctoral work, where we had to put our research proposal together, the very first assignment was to compile a bibliography of 100 sources. So what you're seeing here is exactly what I did for that project, except I think I put in 150 sources because obviously the next step is going to be to cull through these sources. But I asked ChatGPT compile a bibliography of 25 sources that address this issue. Now, here's the key to doing college level, graduate level, and doctoral level research using AI. You have to tell the AI what kind of sources you're looking for. If you don't tell the AI what kind of sources you're looking for, there's a really good chance that the information that's going to come back to you is going to be non-academic, non-peer review. It's going to be Wikipedia, and Wikipedia is never, ever, ever a good source. So that the sources should be academic level resources, such as peer-reviewed journal articles, monographs, or volumes. Exclude Wikipedia, websites, or other non-academic sources. And then you're using APA, most likely, you want to tell it to go ahead and format it. The reason you want to go ahead and tell it to format it is because the AI will help you do the work to make sure the formatting is correct. In theology, everywhere except here at Elam, we use Turabian. And so I told it to list the sources as a bibliography formatted according to the 9th edition of Turabian. So you can see here that it took 2 minutes and 29 seconds for ChatGPT to give me an answer. On Grok, it took 2 minutes, 1 second. So either case, it's culling the internet. It took 2 minutes. You can see here, here's the list of bibliography items, and it is already formatted according to Turabian, except the first line's not hanging. And so you can see here that it's given me 25 resources, and it even tells me at the end that it can sort it by tradition if I wanted to. I don't want it to, but I appreciate the prompt. So now that you have the sources, here's the sources on ChatGPT, and here are the sources that it gave me on Grok. Now, what you're going to find inevitably is that some of these sources are the same. There's going to be some differences. The other thing that you're going to find, and you can maybe work this out when you put in your prompt, But at the doctoral level, what you don't want is general sources. Like I don't want general Christian history. I need very specific stuff. At the college level, you can get away with stuff that's a little more general sometimes. But the reason that when I'm doing a bibliography, I'll put in, if I need 100, I'll put in 150 because I need to weed out some of those general sources. All right, so now that you've got the sources, what you don't want to do is just copy and paste this into a Word document and send it to your professor. That's what you don't want to do, because I'll go ahead and tell you with almost 100% certainty that some of these sources, you're not going to be able to find them in Atla or whatever database you're looking for. Maybe it picked them up off the internet somewhere, and maybe they're not in print anymore, or they were in the footnotes of something, and so just don't think that you can find all these sources. So what you want to do now that you've got your list is you want to just use your Atla. Now I'm using the Regent University's Atla, but here at Elam, it's the same database. It just has our logo at Elam, but it's the Atla Religion Database. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy this first source. All right, so Control C, I copy. Let's go to Atla, and I'm just going to post the entire thing in the search box. Let's see what comes up. All right, first of all, it's giving me 648 hits on that, but you can see in search of authority, Anglican theological method. All right, the very first, and this never happens, by the way, so I'm glad it happened today. So the very first hit that I got was exactly what the AI prompted. And then you want to go and you want to check the availability and all of that. But what you want to do is when you get your list of sources from the AI, is every source, even if it's a project like I had to do in the doctoral program where I had to put together 100 sources, you have to verify every source, especially if it's something that you're wanting to use in a paper. So now that we've done ChatGPT, let's just go to Grok and let's see. And I use Grok because I find that it's an easier format. It's the only social media I have. Twitter is, and so I'm on it, and I like the thoroughness. But even as great as Grok is, I guarantee you that it's going to have a hard time finding some of these sources. So let's just look at the first source. All right. So what was the first source? All right. So the first source for me on ChatGPT was from Paul Avis. Now, that's interesting. The first two were Paul Avis. Let's see if there's any more in here with Paul Avis. Probably not, because it put it in alphabetical order. All right. So apparently, a little nugget in this thing that I'm looking at, Paul Avis seems to be a major voice when it comes to trying to find some of this stuff. Okay. So here's another Paul Avis. Let's see if it's already, let's see, Paul Avis, the identity of Anglicanism in search of authority. Okay, so this Paul Avis is different than what ChatGPT. So let's see if we can find this in Atla. I'm going to Control C. Oops, let's see. Went away. Here we go. All right. And we're going to I'm going to move this. All right, so let's punch it in there. And let's see if it comes up. Okay, so I got 706 results. The church and the theology of the reformers. So it's probably here, but it looks like I'm going to have to do a little digging to find it. I could probably change some aspects. You can now, if you want to, you can just maybe go to Amazon, type that in Amazon, see if you get an ISBN number, and then you can come back and you can search via the ISBN number or whatever it is. So when you're doing research, again, what you don't want to do is you don't want to tell the AI to write the paper for you, because we have tools in our management system that's going to pick that up. But when it comes to doing research and finding sources, I assure you that if these were the days where you had to go to the library and try to dig through journal articles and card catalog, which none of you even know what I'm talking about, this would take potentially days. If you're using Google, it would potentially take days. But you can see that with AI, I've taken a project that should take days and I've shrunk it down to minutes to hours. And so I'm going to stop sharing. So that's essentially how I recommend that you use AI for research, and hope it works for you. I hope you have a great semester.